It's official! M3GAN is officially getting a sequel, and we already know when to expect the upcoming movie as well. The M3GAN sequel, M3GAN 2.0, has been set for 2025. Here's everything you need to know. But as we start looking towards the next chapter in this story, let's not forget that M3GAN left us with some unanswered questions as well. But first things first, what do we know about the upcoming sequel, M3GAN 2.0? But did it really come as a surprise to hear that we haven't seen the last of the Model 3 generative android? M3GAN is programmed to be a child's greatest companion. Not only can she listen, watch, and learn as she acts like a friend and teacher to a child, she's also a protector. The first movie sees Gemma give a prototype of M3GAN to her niece, Katie. Gemma is actually the creator of M3GAN, but her prototype definitely has some bug fixes to address, and Gemma is gonna learn the hard way what kind of bugs she's dealing with.
I have to make sure that she's okay.
Why wouldn't she be okay? She was fine yesterday.
Because M3GAN's release into the world comes with a lot of campy violence and bloodshed. Did you know that there was also a much gorier version of M3GAN written? The movie ended up being rated PG-13 and was aimed towards a much younger audience, but that did not at all affect M3GAN's reception.
Offending anyone, let alone murdering them. Look, I don't understand it either, but when I asked—
The movie was made on a budget of only $12 million, but M3GAN became an internet sensation long before the movie ever hit the theaters. Everyone was talking about M3GAN, even before we even seen the movie. And somehow, M3GAN even managed to take over Avatar: The Way of the Water in its opening weekend. With all that being said, it was all but a given that M3GAN 2.0 would be put into motion sooner or later. Still, producer Jason Blum previously admitted that there had actually already been talks about a sequel before the movie was released. They were even afraid that they had jinxed it all for themselves. Luckily, M3GAN truly started living a whole life of her own. Viral dance and everything. Who knows? Maybe there's even a M3GAN universe in the future. The official M3GAN Twitter implied as much when they responded with a picture of a gauntlet-wielding M3GAN to Variety, referring to the sequel as the start of a M3GAN cinematic universe. But we're getting a little bit too far ahead of ourselves. Who will be returning to reprise their roles in M3GAN 2.0? Given the fact that they survived, it's assumed that Allison Williams and Violet McGraw will be back to portray Gemma and Katie, respectively. M3GAN 2.0 is also set to be produced by horror masters James Wan and Jason Blum through Atomic Monsters and Blumhouse Productions once again. That is, unless they manage to get their merger sorted before work on the project is completed. Aside from starring in the sequel, Williams is also set to step up as producer.
What are you doing?
Officially, no director has been announced just yet, but given the fact that pretty much everyone else of the original cast and crew is returning, it should be safe to assume that Gerard Johnstone will be taking up the mantle once more as well. It shouldn't take too long before we'll get more news on that regard, because M3GAN 2.0 has already been given an official release date.
Are you ready to find test notes on that? Yeah, nice and warm. Fondle that.
We can expect the sequel to be released on January 17th, 2025, which is still very far away, I know, but look on the bright side. That leaves us with plenty of time to look at some of the unanswered questions that we were left with after watching M3GAN. One big question that probably has lots of robotics enthusiasts scratching their heads is why it seems like Gemma has never heard of Asimov's 3 laws of robotics. Even though Gemma has no clue what to do when it comes to children, she's clearly a bit of a genius creator of artificial intelligence. At some point in the movie, Gemma is even described as the most valuable asset they have by one of the board members. How come she seems to have no idea what Asimov's laws are? In case you never heard of them before either, Isaac Asimov is kind of a really big deal in the world of science fiction, and especially fiction that featured robotics. Asimov's 3 laws of robotics state that a robot can't harm humans or allow humans to be harmed. They can't disobey humans unless it's in direct contradiction of Rule 1, and they have to preserve their own life unless that is in contradiction with Rule 1 as well. Basically, they're just good principles, really. But M3GAN clearly didn't get the update. There are several ways to maybe explain Gemma's lapse in genius away. It's clear that she's under a lot of pressure to get the robot done. I mean, how do you forget to set up basic parameters and parental control before giving a robot to a child? But then again, Gemma isn't exactly a parent herself. There's a reason why she's in dire need of the robot herself. But maybe that's what caused Gemma to have a bit of a blind spot when it comes to safety. Whatever the case, M3GAN definitely showed the importance of proper focus group testing. But speaking of lack of parental instinct, what was up with that Lydia? What made her decide to become a therapist when she doesn't seem to have a sympathetic bone in her body? She comes to see how Katie is doing in her new environment, soon after she was in what some might call a severely traumatizing and irrevocably life-changing event. Surely, this child is forgiven to be in her pajamas for a day or two without grown-ups getting all uptight. And let's not even start on the collectibles. Because even though Gemma is clearly putting in effort, opening one of her collectibles up just to impress Lydia is not impressed at all.
Oh my god, okay. Katie, that's enough. Stop that right now. Stop it.
How did Lydia get this job? Why did Lydia get this job? The portrayal of mental health issues and problems has absolutely improved over the years, but Lydia's character felt especially jaded. Needless to say that Gemma's efforts absolutely deserve some acknowledgement. Which brings us to another subject that needs acknowledgement. What happened to the stolen schematics of M3GAN? Did they end up going to a rival company? Remember how Kurt illegally accessed the classified specs for M3GAN's designs and saved them to his personal device? There's no mention of it again in the movie, aside from that moment when M3GAN confronts Kurt in the elevator and tells him that his intentions were initially much more than some innocent pushing of boundaries. Was that a way for the filmmakers to leave a door open to a sequel? They have admitted that it's fun to leave seeds to sequels behind in original movies. Could this be one of them?
So if you remember anything out of the ordinary from that day.
Well, unless there's another part of M3GAN that gives us a clue as to what the sequel could be about, the last thing the movie leaves us with is Gemma's smart home hub, Elsie, restarting and turning towards the camera. Now, maybe it's just me, but that seems like the beginning of another movie. Does that mean that M3GAN may have lost a body, but has gained the entire Ethernet? Just imagine the chaos she could create if she actually was inside the internet. Whatever will happen, we're gonna have to wait until 2025 to find out. But that's everything you need to know about the M3GAN sequel, M3GAN 2.0. And yes, there are many more questions left unanswered, but we're pretty sure that at least some of them will be resolved in the upcoming sequel.
You do this.
It's just, I get so crazy without M3GAN. She always knows just with anyone else.
Okay.
I didn't kill anyone, Kurt. You did.